So in this episode of Marksman Makes, I was going to show something that I've stolen again from one of my subscribers, Paul Carruthers, who's a really nice fella, a good lad. He's always very complimentary to me, and I consider him a mate, to be honest. I've only known him a little while, but like me, he's a fellow Geordie lad, so we get on like a house on fire, as most of us do. So he's been making some enclosures for his artillery pieces using gabions, etc. And I thought it was such a good idea. I'll do a video about it. Mine won't be exactly the same as his. He's basically experimenting on what looks good and what doesn't. And he was really nice and sent me some of these that he'd casted from home, and saying he really loved my channel. You can verify this, Paul, by the way, please, otherwise they'll think I'm lying. So yeah, he sent me a bag full of these that he's got his own moulds for, as a sort of thanks for doing my videos and inspiring him on my channel, which is really, really nice. I don't ask for people to send me things, but I do get things from time to time. I don't monetize my channel, so I don't feel the need. It's all for enjoyment. If you get tips from it, then fine. So this is basically a tip from him that I'm making a video of. So, as I say, it's about making a sort of fortified enclosure for all my artillery pieces across the periods that I do. So the American War of Independence, English Civil War, and Napoleonics. So I hope you like it, and I'll show you how to do it. So the materials, I've cut some skewers, the round logs, some coffee stirrers. The sides of the enclosure, there's 4, so it'll be 2 stuck together with these shorter ones, which are cut the same length as the height of the 2 bits of coffee stirrer for the sides, and some longer ones for the facing front. So I've written a 9 on there because it's 9 centimetres, I've written a 7 on there because it's 7 centimetres. So these are the materials you need. You're also going to need something like some cocktail sticks. I mean, you can get these anywhere, as you well know, any corner shop, any supermarket, and they're very good for holding things together as you're building it. And I'll just show you the base. Basically, you've got to get the base to be the right size to get enough room to slide in your artillery base. So I shall just show you that. So what I've done is create the enclosure. You see there I've stuck together the sides of the enclosure, and I've also started building up the sides there, because this is going to be used with filler. I've used offcuts of coffee stirrers to do this, just get a nice little slope on there. There's enough room either side and round the front there to give you some terrain round the outside of the enclosure. I know this is being used, but this is all going to be covered in filler, so don't throw these things away. You know, these foam boards are, I wouldn't say overtly expensive, but you know, they do cost a bit of money. And in fact, that's the only thing that I've actually spent on to do these. So this is a very, very cheap build, and you don't necessarily have to use coffee stirrers to build up the sides in a slope. You could, you know, a bit of cardboard would do. I've left a bit round the top just to show that it is an enclosure. You might want to fill that up right up to the top. So there we have it on that, and let me just insert the artillery piece. So you'll see it's not a snug fit, which I didn't really want, because I want to be able to get it in and out without, you know, problems with it being too tight. And the base I'll be painting brown anyway, and probably flocking it as well, just up to the sides of the enclosure. So now I've got it ready to start building up the sides of it. And I'm going to place some gabions around the front once I've put a bit of filler down. The front is going to be a bit lower than the sides. The sides are going to be really built up, and I'm going to build up, well, the front is basically the gabions, so I don't need to build up the front quite so much. You can chuck rocks and things in there as well. You'll notice also that I've left the cocktail sticks there just to show how I assembled it, by giving the sides something to lean on until it glues. You can use a hot glue gun for this, you can use super glue, you can use Yoo-hoo glue, and PVA would probably work as well. You just need to hold them into position with the cocktail sticks until it dries. So this is how it'll look once I've placed the gabions in, and that's basically it. I mean, there's not really that much to it, because all we're doing from now on is adding the filler and painting it and flocking it, and away you go. So it's so simple, so quick, so easy, but it will look pretty nice when it's finished. So I shall carry on making a couple of these, and then that'll be it. Since I've got the white base here, I just thought I'd add this in. These are from the Airfix Hougoumont Farm accessory kit. So it's the Waterloo accessory kit, and you get lots of pitchforks and a couple of shovels in there. So I think it would be an ideal diorama to add one of these shovels that I've been, or spades you could call them. I'm from the north, so I would call them a shovel. I know they're different. So yeah, I think these would be an ideal little diorama to lean some spades up against the sides, or once I've done the flocking stuff, some lazy workman's left one behind there. So here we have the completed gun emplacement, and it's so simple, isn't it, to do, very easy to build. It looks quite effective once you've done the flocking and actually put in there and gun to fire from there. Works for Napoleonics as well, and for English Civil War, which are these ones, and American War of Independence. It is useful for all of the three periods that I do, and not for the Dark Age stuff, but then it's not really about that, is it? It's fine for this. Hope you enjoyed that one, and there'll probably be some more making videos.